Can you do joke recall in the first few seconds of a cold open? Let's try it. Remember that time I told you a broken fleshlight lighted the way to potential hazards and I was surprised that someone could actually break a fleshlight? Well, there are far more potential hazards on a Tinder date filled with friction. Ever heard of the Princeton rub? Or the Ivy League rub? The dad listening to me in the pickup line at his kid's school, he has. He's turning down the volume on the story right now, so the speakers don't blast me out to the whole pickup line, yo. Anyway, here's what the internet says about it. There is no verifiable information or evidence to suggest that any specific New England college has a culture where dry humping is popular. The term Princeton rub or Ivy League rub are historical slang terms for a type of non-penetrative sex, reportedly surviving from the era when some of these colleges only admitted men. These terms are related to historical social practices and do not indicate a current widespread popularity of the act at specific modern institutions. Information regarding a college's sexual culture, beyond general data on sexual health resources or policies, is subjective and not formally tracked or documented in a reliable manner. Colleges primarily provide information on academics, campus life, diversity, and official policies. What I can say for certain is they make a Neosporin with pain relief and scar ointment all in one cream. Stick around for Tina Turner singing those ballads of the apocalypse. Stick around for what's beyond the Thunderdome. Say, Master Blaster, let's start the show. I don't think they have an antibacterial pain ointment with vitamin D and zinc in the wastelands. That's too bad.
Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers podcast.
Home video headlines. What's new in the world of TV, movies, streaming, or otherwise? Atari, the video game empire from the 70s, is building experience hotels. Everything is real estate. Everything is real estate. I'd stay in a Pong room, or some space warp or asteroids themed stay. That would be cool. Was that Atari? Sinners won some stuff at the Golden Globes. Props for a vampire movie whose story weaves in both Irish and African history. Vampire movies need good myths and methodology for the vampirism to work in the movies, and this had both. It's one of the best vamp movies that I've seen come out in the last 3 years, that's for sure. Apple TV's The Studio, they also won at the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice Awards. So if you need a guide into the whackness of Hollywood this year, The Studio is a good parody of what they are up to. Movie of the week. After being exiled from the most advanced town in the post-apocalypse, a drifter travels with a group of abandoned children in rebellion against the town's queen. It's Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Yeah, we're doing a Thunderdome episode. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome is included among the American Film Institute's 2004 list of 400 movies nominated for the top 100 America's Greatest Music in the Movies for the song We Don't Need Another Hero. Mel Gibson did his own stunts and is actually listed in the end credits in the stunts section. This film takes place 15 years after the previous film, The Road Warrior from 81, which takes place 5 years after Mad Max from 1979. This film will take place essentially 20 years after the first one. This film originally wasn't even a Mad Max movie, but a post-apocalyptic type like Lord of the Flies, about a tribe of children who were found by an adult. It became the third Mad Max film when George Miller was suggested that Max is the man who finds the children. The filmmakers also discussed supposedly killing Max off instead of letting him drift off into the sunset as a legend. at the end of the movie. The film's theme, Tina Turner's We Don't Need Another Hero, reached number 2 on the US charts, number 3 on the UK charts, and number 1 in Australia and Canada in the summer of '85. The song was recorded in London, England, with a backing choir from King's House School in Richmond, containing, amongst others, at the time, Lawrence Delagio. Delagio went on to be a hugely successful rugby union player in England, playing domestically for the Wasps RFC, and a member of the English World Cup winning the English World Cup winning side in 2003. Among other accolades, the song received a Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Original Song, Grammy Award nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance, and the Ivor Novello Award for Best Contemporary Song and Best Film Theme Song. The music video earned an MTV Music Video Award nomination for Best Female Video. Now, another thing is, there's a popular misbelief that the vehicle Max is driving at the beginning and end of the movie is based on a Ford F-150. Actually, it's a modified early to mid-'70s model Australian Ford Fairlane ZF-ZG, used as the base vehicle. Although they did heavily modify the exterior of the car, you can identify some of the remaining pieces of the car on the inside. It's got a signature curved dashboard and ignition switch along with a steering column. That of these Australian models came out between 1971 to 76. And it's got a seat trim and a steering wheel that are signatures of the ZG. It's confirmed through close-ups of the interior during the final chase sequence. The ZG Fairlane has a similar body style, chassis, and engine. We're talking about the 351 cubic, 5.8 liter, the Cleveland V8, as compared to Max's original yellow Interceptor used in the original Mad Max, making all three of the main vehicles used by Max in each film a similar variation of each other: the Australian Ford V8, the mid-70s sedan, and the coupe. The Aussie titles are just Mad Max 1, Mad Max 2, Mad Max 3, which is easier to say, probably easier to stick on a marquee, and whatever, but the legacy of world building, like the epic level stuff, what draws us in, at least in the US audiences, is calling it The Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome as the subtitles for the sequels. Since this movie, The Pig Killer, has come to mean an outcast living on the edge of society, I'm going to add that to my LinkedIn profile. Alright, we'll be back with our favorite bits from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome right after these messages. Let's talk about Meatsy for a minute. You can use my referral code and get an extra $10 off your first box. You can take advantage of Meatsy's promo. You can get $20 off each box for 6 months. You can order the box today and get a choice of free tri-tip steak, ground chicken, or burgers for a year. Alright, you can learn how sharing great food can earn you some income. Your first Meatsy box you can start earning today. It's culinary grade flavor delivered to your door. They're calling it the cleanest meat subscription out there. No hormones, no antibiotics, only USDA choice and above. The cuts once reserved for chefs and insiders can be delivered to your door. Eat well, earn well, live well. It's Meatsy. Turn dinner into income. Turn your favorite steak into a side hustle. They beat ButcherBox and Whole Foods in every single blind tasting that they've done so far. It's going to be the only subscription box that feeds you and pays you. It's America's first protein-based wealth engine. Big Tech's got enough. It's your turn to earn. The only meat company that pays people, not just algorithms. Yeah, so use my affiliate link, grab yourself some meat, and then you can turn around and share the link that it generates for you with your friends and family, and you earn money back every time you order meat, and they order meat, etc. All right. Yum, yum. All right. Back to our favorite bits from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome with the show already in progress. I think it's Tina Turner singing over the opening credits. Just having Tina Turner in the movie is my favorite bit. The banter between Max and the authorities at Bartertown about having something to barter is entertaining. Long-haired Mad Max is doing it for me. He's like a burnt-out Braveheart. I remember seeing this one, this Mad Max 3, as they call it down under. I mean, before I even saw Mad Max 2 or Mad Max 1, this is Mad Max to me. When I think of Mad Max, people are like, have you seen Mad Max? I'm thinking about Thunderdome. I'm thinking about this movie, and this is the one that I would refer people to. And they're talking about what are the originals like? I've seen the new ones with Tom Hardy, but what are the old ones like? I'd be like, just go watch Thunderdome. All right. Thunderdome has influenced pop culture in many ways, and my generation even got a recycling ad campaign with a Mad Max like character driving around the wastelands with his own dog and a series of Earth Day commercials. I think that's why millennials are most passionate about saving the planet more than they are about social etiquette or pronouns or politics, because all these old damn commercials, and maybe Captain Planet. Even Rick and Morty did a Rick and Morty episode. When Rick and Morty weren't total shit before they fired the old creator who was the shit, giving us all the cool shit, they had a Mad Max themed episode. I love how all the Mad Maxians have distinct physical traits, costumes, and personalities too. Even their names are based on, like, rather than calling somebody Steve, it'd be like Tall Spike or something. One thing that bothers me is Max's ally, Pig Killer. He sends the monkey on a mission to bring Max water when Max is exiled back into the desert. We didn't see Pig Killer meet Max's monkey. And how can the monkey complete such a complex task like deliver the water to some unknown point in the wasteland without being bribed with cigarettes? Rating: binge now, binge later, binge never. How does that work? Well, binge now means you gotta watch it now. Binge later, put it on the playlist, get around to it, but not right away. Binge never, you can't get the time back. You've wasted 90 minutes of your life. You might as well be licking paint off a wall instead of watching this movie. This is a binge now. We've been doing these throwback threequels this month. I almost picked Neverending Story 3 or Ninja Turtles 3, but I didn't. Neverending Story 3 might be like Jack Black's first movie, but it's awful. They even changed the look of the Luck Dragon. Budget cuts, who knows? And they made the Rockbiter Giants human-sized, which is lame. Also, Jonathan Brandis is not back from part 2 as Sebastian, and there's no Atreyu in this movie at all. Then the Turtles. I mean, I think there's so many other shows out there covering Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 that, we'll get lost in the shovel if we make an episode about it, but whatever. I like part 3. The time travel is cool. They get to be the basis of the Kappa legends and Japanese mythology. And the Casey Jones ancestor, that's fine. To include Casey Jones, it's an ancestor instead of the guy who's in New York. Plus, the turtles get decked out in samurai armor. It's like they adapted Seven Samurai Save the Village Against Overwhelming Odds storyline, but into a Ninja Turtles adventure. Fan service, if the fans are chiming in, what are they squawking about? Will I do a time travel movie? Haven't we? I mean, we got one coming up, don't tell anyone. And we did time crimes. I'm sure we've mentioned them like 1,000 times on the show. It's like what we do. But if not, we'll go back in time and we'll do some, okay? We'll call our time machine guy, which is us because it's time travel. Do you get it? We'd be our own time travel guy. You complain, we think about it. Once we engineer that time machine, we zip on back, we get those episodes done for you. See how that works? The big cycle of life, as they say. Quantum understanding. No, I don't know. Man. Yeah, I took a pause to sip something down. What is it? This is actually Redline, who makes Jolt Cola, but this is not Jolt Cola. This is Jolt Root Beer. Taste the Legend by Redline. High performance energy drink. What does it say? Energy and Nootropics, the original energy drink. 200 milligrams of caffeine. Promotes focus, boosts moods, supports metabolism. It also says no sugar. How crazy is that? You know what? Besides being a talker on the talk show or a showman on the video show or a podcaster on a podcast, although I don't like to call it that because it's more than that. I'm an Amazon influencer. I don't do much with my Amazon links. However, you could hook yourself up with a case of Jolt. I'll put a link somewhere. The Jolt root beer is good because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for, I love root beer, but where's the root beer energy drinks? And I found a couple brands that actually make a root beer energy. So boom, there we go. Little millennial treat. Okay. All right. Where am I at? I'm going on tangent land now. Just kidding. All right, I'll get back into it. All right. Staff picks. If we watch something else besides the movie of the week to recommend, what can we recommend for you? I'm rewatching Wayne's World because I really feel like public access cable shows were the podcasters before the podcasts. Also, I'm hooked on Ed O'Neill's speech as the donut shop manager. That's like a whole side quest movie right there. I'd love to watch a whole movie about that, about the story he's telling. All right, what is he talking about? He's talking about a crime of passion. Go back and watch the movie. It's hilarious. All right. Oh, yeah. We discussed Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. We talked about how Mad Max looked like a Braveheart type deal. I told you about Jolt Root Beer. What else did I tell you about? I told you about Atari hotels. We discussed the dangers of fleshlights versus hooking up with a couple of college girls who just want a dry hump doing the Princeton rub or the Ivy League rub. Recommended you get that scar treatment ointment with bacitracin and all that good stuff. It's a Neosporin thing. I'm sure you can pick it up at any Target if you're suffering from the Princeton rub. Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's incredible that they got Tina Turner on this movie. It's incredible that they made a song for the movie. She's nominated for all this stuff. She should have won it. It's an incredible song. Go watch the movie. She plays a character named Auntie who's in charge of Bartertown. Well, she actually has beef with the guy who lives in the underworld and makes all the gas for the town. A conflict of power. They put Mad Max in the center. They try to topple the power in the town. Spoiler alert. Mad Max obviously beats up that dude, Master Blaster, and then helps her liberate the town. And there's this whole other thing about like the kids are kind of like Lost Boys. It's less Lord of the Flies to me, and more like Peter Pan's Lost Boys there, towards the end of the movie. But again, if you think about Mad Max, I'm thinking about Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I wonder if they showed this one the most on TV. It's possible that they did. Because again, I mean, the first one's very serious and a little bit dark, and it doesn't have as many zany characters, and it's not that outlandish, because the first movie is like things are barely falling apart. It just looks like exaggerated crime, kind of like in a Walter Hill movie or something. Not like crazy, like post-war apocalypse world, full Mad Max shit like you see in Road Warrior. That's when it's out of control. And then, obviously, Thunderdome is supposed to be like 20 years after the fall of our modern society, so things are a little bit more zany in that one. And yeah, there are the remakes. They mentioned Bartertown, and then they create some other towns and some other baddies. Like of the sequels, they created like a Mad Max level villain. You know what I mean? What's his name? He has a cool name. And Morton Joe. And Morton Joe is a great character, and he's made in the remakes or sequels. I don't know. I don't know if Mad Max Fury Road is supposed to be like a direct sequel to the Mad Max Adventures that Mel Gibson had as the original Mad Max. I don't think so. Oh, is this what puts Mel Gibson on the marquee? Probably, right? Like he had a few Australian hits, and then he was doing American movies early on. Obviously, Lethal Weapon would probably be considered his breakout movie before Braveheart, right? But I think Mad Max is the thing, right? At least for B-movie sci-fi culture, real movie watchers, we know him as freaking Mad Max. I mean, what else is there, right? I mean, again, don't get me wrong, I got all the DVDs for Lethal Weapon, and I love Lethal Weapon 2. And obviously the stuff that he does, he's famous for the scene where he's buying stuff at the Christmas tree lot in the first movie, jumping off the roof in the first movie, talking down or dealing with the sniper at the public school in the first movie. Iconic stuff, right? And then in part 2, he knocks down a house on stilts. Yeah, so there's iconic stuff in the Lethal Weapon movies with his Martin Riggs character, but I always loved Mad Max. I don't know what it is, dude. He's like a regular dude, pushed to the edge, suffers from personal tragedy, is kind of like that lone Western hero that just literally comes up out of the desert and alters the course of a group of people's future or whatever, liberates them or helps them. They're fighting for gas in part 2. In the third one, they've invented like a methane fuel that's running the city or whatever, and they're just fighting over who controls it, right? And then he's going to help out these kids who have like their own prophecy, because the kids are descended from like people that crashed in an airplane. And their whole society is built around the idea that the captain of the plane is going to return, and he looks a bit like Mad Max. So Mad Max is their savior kind of thing in their prophecy or whatever. Here I am at the end, like divulging like major parts of the movie or the mythos of the movie. But yeah, again, I guess the basic thing I want to say is like when I think of Mad Max, I'm thinking of Mel Gibson and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Plus, you got the iconic Tina Turner. If you don't know who that is, I can't help you. But you can go look up her music catalog. You can go look up the song she made for this movie. You can just watch this movie. I think Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome is like widely available everywhere now. Used to watch it on videotapes or DVDs or there used to be TV channels on this magical device called a TV. Right? This is not a smartphone. It's not a social media platform. It's not YouTube. There used to be this thing called television, which used to pump things into our brains, and the channels would frequently be showing Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Anyway, it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, like the song done says, which I agree with. Why don't you take some time off, right? Heal yourself before your next Tinder date, okay? Take a little break before that next Tinder date that you got coming up, alright?